Chasing financial freedom in your 20s is one of the smartest things that you can do because you don't have a lot of the weight that you will have later on in your life, especially as you get into your 30s and 40s and 50s, and even more so if you're someone that's planning on having kids and you don't have kids already and you're not already super deep into your career and already have a set path of beliefs and mindset. Then right now is the best time to seek after financial freedom and to pursue that, because who knows in the future if you're going to have these luxuries again. And so right now is the time not to build your way up the corporate ladder and instead to focus on developing your own personal ladder and becoming a more capable person. Because the difference of you today seeking financial freedom and following the path versus the version of you today that seeks comfort and pursuing a career in something that you're not necessarily super favorable in and just letting life happen to you are going to be starkly contrasted different lives that you will have. It's the difference of living a very middle or lower middle class your entire rest of your life, or to have a more successful, more fulfilling life of you traveling and really doing the things that you want in your life. I love the saying of you don't get to choose if you were born into poverty, but if you die poor, then it's your fault. And ultimately, right now, you have the choice in front of you. It's laid out in front of you. And so my own personal journey is I was on that same exact pathway of comfort and working a 9-to-5 job and working my way up the corporate ladder. I was told growing up, as we all are, especially if we go to school and we have parents and we weren't homeschooled or anything like that, then we were told that working our way up the corporate ladder is the way, and hustling hard and working our way up our career. Now, yes, this will be a more accelerated pathway to becoming, to unlocking more finances and to have a more, cushy lifestyle. Yet, I started to realize that it leads to just that. It doesn't lead to a life full of whatever you want it to be. It leads to a life full of, succumbing to, having to show up to a certain place every single day, to not really owning your own time, which we come to realize that the only finite resource that we have in this life is time. It's not money. It's not resources. It's not real estate. It's not, this printed fiat money that we have. It's time. That's the one thing that we have a limited volume of. And that's something I wanted to have as much of in my life and to fill it with as many fulfilling destinies and aspects in life, that once I found there was other ways to have financial income, and it was detached from showing up to any place, it was detached from me, and instead it was able to generate income on itself. This is when I started looking up passive income. This is when I started looking up, possibly buying real estate. This is when I looked into investments. This is when I looked into all of the ways to make money without necessarily me having to show up to a place and trading my time for money, and to even get it to compound, and also for it to not take 40 years to the point where I'm in my 50s or 60s when I'm able to fully enjoy my money, and instead finding a way of being able to enjoy the money that I make at a significantly younger age. And so what we're going to be talking about inside of this video is my honest thoughts on financial freedom, the process that I believe that if you're in your 20s, you need to follow, just like I did, to becoming in a place where you can make millions in your 20s. And so I've been doing this in the last few videos where I will pull up a little bit of an income screenshot as I am pulling this up. Just know that this is something that I pursued for a very long time. It was very frustrating for a long time of why are these other people getting so rich and not me yet? And what I will say is if you follow these principles over time, you will get to where you want to be. And so there's a screenshot that I have of the revenue that I've made in the past year. Just this one business alone did just over $1 million. And I can pull up many other stuff as well, but that'll at least suffice for now. So the main thing is, what is financial freedom? So financial freedom is getting to a place where our income is not associated to our time. We don't have to trade time for money anymore. And instead, money is either able to make itself or the leverage that we create is able to make money. As Naval Ravikant talks about, there are 4 different types of leverage that we can build. There is capital leverage, which is one of the lowest leverage points that we have. And that's why, like typically 7 or 10% interest, like return on our money is pretty suitable. A lot of times more, it's like a storing of wealth and just to beat inflation and more of like a compounding effect. And that's what they teach most of us these days. So above that, there is labor leverage, and then there is code leverage, and then there is media leverage. So the highest form is media leverage. And so what we need to do if we're in our 20s is we need to develop high income skill sets. So then we're able to make significantly more money off of what we're doing. And then we're able to turn this into these different forms of leverage, whether it be labor leverage or it be code leverage, which might be a little bit more difficult for most of us. But media leverage is something we all have access to, especially, with smartphones in our pockets. We're able to post on whatever 10 different social media sites, and we're able to get thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. Like I just threw up a tweet on my Twitter or X, whatever they call it now these days, just yesterday, and in, I don't know what it's at now, but in the first 12 hours, it got 60,000 views. And that 60,000 impressions is probably going to turn into at least 10 to 20 grand that I made off of that one post that I was able to do on Twitter just yesterday that took me 10 minutes to make. Now, the person I had to become to make that thing that was 10 minutes, that took me 10 minutes to make, took me 4 or 5 years. And it was just the compounding of these things. So the sooner that you start, the better set up you will be. So if you start now, especially if you're 22, 23, 24, maybe you're 17 watching this, maybe you're 14 watching this, maybe you're 27. The sooner that you start, the better that you're setting yourself up for success in the future. So that way, when it comes to the point where you're 35, let's say you start at 22, by the time you're 32, you've had 10 years of experience. If you've had 10 years of experience of constantly refining these skills and just becoming this person that's super effective, I would think it would be pretty damn near impossible for you to not become at least a millionaire by the age of 32, if not making tens of millions of dollars a year. For me, I'm in this, I started when I was 18, so I'm about 7 years into building business. So me doing this for the last 7 years, it's just compounding to me becoming a more effective human being. So the sooner that you can start, the sooner that you can plant these seeds, the sooner that you can become a more effective person. So the first thing we need to do is get financial freedom, in my opinion, as soon as possible. So then the rest of our lives, we're set up to become a more and more effective human being and becoming somebody who's powerful, somebody who is able to take these skill sets that we've developed and becoming an extremely powerful person. So what we need to do is get financial freedom as soon as possible. We need to get to where our time is disassociated from our time, or at least showing up to a place at a very consistent place that sucks all of our time out so we have none at all. So my biggest recommendation to the person watching this is to do anything that you can to generate income at first. So I would say I would go find some sort of freelance work, like on a website like Upwork or Fiverr, or go on Twitter. And there's been a huge movement lately of all these people in their early 20s, late teenagers, that are becoming video editors, and they're posting content very frequently about they're going and editing people's videos and sending it to them, and then they're getting contracts out of hiring these people. So they'll go do a sample work, they'll go edit people's videos, and over time they're refining their skills and they're becoming a better video editor. And over time, as they become a better video editor or a better script writer or whatever it is, they're picking up these little contracts here and there. And over time, there's a lot of people getting to where they're making their first $500, first $1,000, first $5,000, first $10,000. Like I have a friend that I talked to. He made a few videos breaking down his process as a scriptwriter, and he makes $30,000 a month just writing scripts, and he gets a lot of his clients from Twitter. And he lives in Singapore. It's not even like he's in any specific place to live in an office. He has clients all over the world internationally, and he can ultimately live wherever he wants. So what you want to do is find a way right now to do some sort of side hustle, some sort of thing that can make you money. So that way you can get out of your job if you're working a job, or if you don't have a job now and you're in college or you're in school or you're in between, you're taking a break in life or whatever it may be. Start doing these things now and start picking up contracts, start picking up clients, getting them to pay you and generating income. So then you can start to unlock financial freedom. And then my biggest tip like I said, this is a video for people in your 20s. If you're in your 30s and have kids, that's for a different video. But what you want to do is maybe go get roommates. Go find people where you can split rent with them, maybe 4 or 5 dudes or girls, and split a place with them. So then instead of paying whatever it is, $1,000 or $2,000 a month for rent, instead you guys are paying only $250 to $500 a month for rent, and the cost for you to be able to afford all your bills is significantly less. So then now you don't have to make as much money. All you gotta do is just cover your food and your bills, and you're set. So if you can make $500 a month or $1,000 a month, which is pretty damn easy these days, then you're set. You're able to pay for like everything that you have, and then now you have financial freedom. Even though you're not necessarily a millionaire, you have financial freedom. So find ways to cut your expenses. Don't have any sort of crazy expenses just yet. Honestly, don't take that comfortability of a 9-to-5 job that they promise you, of like this amazing, incredible life that the school systems and all these places try to shove down our throats, and instead find a way to keep our expenses low and start generating an income today and finding any means necessary to doing that. And then as you start to have financial freedom from like freelancing and creating these ways of developing an income, then what we want to do is we want to focus on one skill businesses. So these are businesses where it takes us only one skill to be able to operate, like to be able to generate an income. And so I wouldn't say like not businesses, but one skill income sources. So then we're not trading our time for money anymore. Now we're trading our knowledge for money. And so what these look like is typically like something like high ticket sales, or if you could do a sales job, those are always excellent because you don't have to find the leads. You don't have to hire the administrative work. You don't have to hire all the fulfillment. You don't have to worry about fulfillment. All you have to focus on is the one skill, sales. That's it. The better of a salesperson you become, the more money you make. So you got to like obviously within sales, there's always subsetted skill sets. There's communication, there's networking, there's charm, there's NLP if you want to get really deep, in psychology. And as you learn the skill set of sales and communication, you will inevitably become a more capable person in a sales job, and you will be better at selling products, and you will make more money. Same with social media. Like social media is another great one. If you do, let's say, a YouTube channel, you just have to become good at social media and making videos that get views, and you will make money because you don't have to figure out the ad revenue system. You don't have to figure out how to sell products or build products. You don't have to hire a team. You don't have to do any of that. Like, you can if you want, and it's set up that way where you can hire a team eventually down the road. But all you have to do with something like YouTube or social media is you just have to make videos and get better at making videos. Obviously, there's all the skill sets that come with it. There's video production, there's content strategy, there's communication or scripting and script strategy. But at the end of the day, you're just learning the one skill set of making viral videos. And so you want to find something that allows you to just have one skill set and get really good at that thing, and you're able to make money detached from the location. So this includes sales, this includes marketing, this includes social media, this includes copywriting. The list goes on. You want to find something where you just learn one skill set and you're able to make money. And as soon as you're able to do that, then you're able to go ahead and start building businesses that are able to make money detached from whether you put in the work or not, and instead they make money on the brand and the brand equity and the operations and the systems that you build around it. So that's for another video. And so now, just having the skill sets and just having a way of making money is not the end all be all. What you do need to do is you need to have insane amounts of consistency and ability to be dedicated to this, and also becoming more productive. And so that's why you see a lot of these videos these days about like productivity hacks or ways to become a more effective human being, and a lot of different mindset shifts to reprogram ourselves and to rewire ourselves to becoming a more effective human being. Because it was hard for me too when I got started. Like I then started to see all these ways of making money that were detached from, the normal system of having to show up to a job. But I just had a tough time getting the work done. And what ended up happening to me that I hope doesn't happen to you is I had to have bills be due. I had to have failures. I had to lose money. I had to have people that I hired get up and leave because I was just not doing the work that I needed to do. And I was also at the age of like early 20s. I never worked any sort of corporate job, so I never had any experience with all of that stuff. And so it wasn't until those like hardcore failures that I then started to realize that I needed to become more effective and more productive. And I started to become more productive out of more just the fear of more pain and suffering that I had to go through, because I already had to go through a bunch. And so instead of it becoming a bit more of like, oh yeah, just chasing my desires and my dreams, it started to become more of just like, I hated the pain and suffering and I wanted nothing to do with that. And so I, a lot of times, learned how to become more productive and a more effective human being out of just, I would say, a fear of inadequacy and a fear of going through those issues again that I've had to go through multiple times. And so hopefully you watching this video, you're able to instead learn from me or learn from these videos that you watch of people that are where you want to be, and you're able to study them and take their concepts and their philosophies and apply it to your life. But at the end of the day, if you have to learn through failure and firsthand experience, honestly, that's one of the best teachers is failure. You don't always have to learn from your own failures. You can always learn from other people's failures. But at the end of the day, you have to learn from failure and through the experience. But what I will say is if you stick with it for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, especially 10 years, I would be very, very surprised if you're not extremely wealthy. If you show up every day, you start building habits of doing things like I record a video every day. I just come up with an idea for 20 minutes and I hit record and then I edit the video and upload. So like doing daily habits, things that are going to make you a more effective human being. I always talk about health, wealth, love, and happiness, of trying to find things that like, health, like I already worked out this morning and got my mind right and listened to like a podcast. And then what I'm doing is I focus on, making these videos, getting out a Twitter thread, getting out some more content, building my personal brand, and getting on some meetings with my sales team and my business. And then also what I do is my relationship, focusing on that, going on dates with my girlfriend, taking care of her, having a good time with her. And then happiness, doing things that I love, going and traveling and doing these things. So I'm constantly focused on the habits that maximize in each of these different 4 areas of my life. So then I'm able to have a very full life. Because if we just focus on wealth, it actually kind of makes it harder to become wealthy in a way, in my opinion, because we don't have this abundance mindset and we feel like we don't take a notice or build up these other things that build the momentum to make building wealth easy. Because at the end of the day, a poor man who has no money, money means everything to him. A wealthy man that has money, money means nothing to him. And that's because what's more important to him is all of these other areas. And so if you can focus on all of these other areas, like if you're just living a full life and the only thing that you don't have is money, you'll be able to make money pretty quickly. But if you are somebody that is it's like some people are so broke, all that they have is money. And so don't be that person. Instead, live a full life and build up each of these different areas, and financial freedom will kind of be something that'll naturally come with it as you're just like, for you, money, in the perspective of money, you're just like, oh, I already have all these other things. Of course money is going to come because I just am this person of a very full life. I've seen this very often, like where I was hanging out with this pastor last weekend. And he's, being a pastor, you don't make necessarily a bunch of money, especially if you're starting up a new church and you're just getting started. And he's somebody that has wealth in all areas, I'd say, except for the money category. And he's telling me story after story of how the money always showed up. There was always money for him, because he had such a full life and he was such a great person in all these different areas. There was always ways that money would show up in his life, and that he was always able to figure it out. And then now he's on a focus of, how does he get his family right? How does he get his church right? And how does he get it to where he's able to make more money? So that's what I got. The first step, like 50% of the work is taking that first step. So my advice to you is, after watching this video, is you go take action on this video and execute on it. Go onto Upwork right now, go create an Upwork account. And then what I want you to do is go look at the sea of all the jobs out there and find what works for you. And then if it's copywriting, if it's email marketing, if it's, editing, if it's doing voiceovers, whatever appeals to you, then what I want you to do is go look up on YouTube or look up, how to blank. like how to become a video editor, like video editing basics, and then look at the people that are the experts in that industry and start learning from them in their videos, and start taking 1 or 2 things a day and applying it to this client work and start applying for contracts. I would be very surprised if in the next 3 to 5 days or the next week that you don't pick up a few contracts and that you don't start getting some work going. And you can also diversify. You can get up on freelancer.com, you can get on upwork.com, you can get on fiverr.com, and you can just get started on these things so you can get started today. So that's what I got. My goal inside of these videos is to brainwash you into becoming extremely successful and extremely rich. So keep playing these every single day. Watch every single video that comes out. Drop a like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.